Sean is playing.
You know, anybody going to redshirt this year?
That I know of. You know something I don't know.
Always.
That's why I checked.
Do you have a starting lineup decided on for this game at least?
Sean Kemp, Jannard Giroux, Mike Anderson, Nigel, and Aaron. So we'll start with in this game.
What have you seen from Jannard over the last few months in his recovery?
Still trying to regain his touch isn't the word I'm looking for. It'll knock the rust off a little bit. His timing, I guess. Regaining his timing with some things. But it's been really good to have him back. Not only have him back, but to do it and improve Jannard. He improved last year, but now he's doing those things with a little more muscle, a little more strength with him. So you can run your offense through him. You can guard 1 through 5. You can switch in position. He can put the ball on the floor, make a play for himself, others. His versatility and his length just gives you a dimension that's hard to find.
How has his rehab from that been compared to other guys, other ACL guys you've had?
It's been good. You know, I remember, Abdul Gaddy's, Arden Wallace, those two tore their ACLs. Abdul's it was a seamless transition from rehab to getting back on the floor. There was no swelling. With Jannard, there was in the very beginning, just a little bit in the summer, but since then, we've been running like crazy, and he hasn't had to sit out for anything, and there has not been any swelling. So it's been good. Pat Jenkins and our doctors and Coach Shapiro have done a really good job with him. And he's done a good job of working hard to get back.
With him being able to defend 1 through 5, like you said, are there scenarios or matchups where we could see Robert, Sean, and Jannard all on the floor at the same time?
Probably not. That always sounds good, like, wow, look at all that length. But when you're actually talking about one of those guys is going to have to guard a Chasing Randall coming off a single double screen, that type of thing. And at that point, you don't have as many playmakers on the floor. So we probably won't see that happen.
Someone tells you have Robert Upshaw this season. How big is that for you this year?
Well, he is such a presence in the middle defensively, and it's one thing to be able to block shots. It's another thing to know that you're good at it. And he has developed a little bit of a good blend of, when you're going to the rim against a really good shot blocker, you need to have a plan. You need to go hard. You can't tiptoe through there or fall away. They're going to block your shot. Well, now you get everything together, you grit your teeth, okay, come on, big fella, and he'll take a challenge. So not a lot of guys do that. So he kind of balances that with that. He's good at protecting the paint, and we didn't have that luxury last year.
Can you talk about Sean this year versus this time last year?
Sean is totally different. First of all, he's much stronger. And forget about the illness. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about in the weight room. He moves guys. When guys defend him in practice and he pulls stuff, you see guys take a step back. And he now, when he's in that game, understands what we want so much that he's just been steady. He's been steady all the way through.
Has there been improvement on the defensive, shot blocking, rebounding side from him as well?
Not as much. His defense is better because his floor position is better. He rotates better. He knows where to go. He's not an intimidating shot blocker. That's not who he is. But the things that he does do, you better run the floor with him every time because he runs the floor. He's fast. We talk about Robert knowing he's a good shot blocker. Sean knows he's fast and knows most big guys can't run with him. So, with our guard pushing the ball up the floor, Sean will get a lot of runouts over the top.
Can you play up Shaw and Sean at the same time?
Yeah, you can do that.
Did he get the start because he's just been so steady?
Yeah,
or-
he's just been steady every day, just been steady.
Just in general, Lorenzo, just, this is the time of year where you're kind of maybe of two minds, where like you're ready to go see him play an exhibition game, but at the same time, you might think, yeah, we could use another couple weeks. Where are you at right now with this team?
Let's go play, but we could use a couple weeks. But let's go play. What we don't have right now, we gotta get it on the fly and work, but let's go play. We were able to have our closed door scrimmage, and I was probably as anxious of any one of those scrimmages that we've ever had, just to see, all right, is what we're seeing in practice real? And that was one of the reasons I was so anxious. And, it was good to see. So playing in an exhibition game again, can't wait to play it.
No, you said it was good to see, but did you realize I mean, was it up to your expectations?
Yes. Yeah.
What are you hoping to see tomorrow night? Just from your group in general.
Like in the scrimmage, and again, I can't say much about the scrimmage, but to continue to execute the things we've been working on, offensively and defensively. One of the main things that we're looking at is how long we can sustain an effort. Because in the beginning, we'll be down in the stance, we'll talk, we'll run in the floor. Can we do that for 40 minutes? That's what we have to be able to do. Today, we haven't been able to do that for 40 minutes.
Can you talk a little bit about the makeup of the team? I think, one of the things that people mentioned last year is, it wasn't as tough as some of the other teams that you had, wasn't as resilient as some of the teams that you've had. What's the makeup? Is this team a little more resilient, tougher?
This team is definitely tough.
In
This team
what way?
definitely has more of an edge to it. And we were talking this morning in our staff meeting, when you look at Sean Kemp, who is a senior, when you look at Andrew Andrews, who is a senior academically, but is in his third year of college. When you look at Mike Anderson, who is a fifth-year senior because he redshirted in college. Jannard is fourth year in college. And then Nigel just plays beyond his years. A guy like Quevin Winters, who has already played Division I basketball at Duquesne University. We're sneaky old, this team is. So we're tougher and we're older, and I think we have more experience.
Where has that experience really shown up for you from the get-go this year?
We pick things up quicker than we have in the past. The guys, even though we have new guys, when we're talking about Donovan Dorsey and Quevin Winters and basically Robert Upshaw and some of the other guys, guys still have picked things up quicker, and you can just see it right there. Do a pretty good job of taking care of the ball. We play more at our own pace as opposed to trying to rush. And with the up-tempo, sometimes you're going, John wouldn't be quick but not be in a hurry. Sometimes we're in a hurry. But for the most part, we're quick and we're not in a hurry, and that has a lot to do with, I think, our experience.
Do you feel like this team is going to be better in transition in terms of finishing?
Yes, definitely.
The guys talked a lot at media day about pushing the tempo faster and faster.
Mhm.
Is that what you're seeing so far? You're going to be able to push the tempo and
Yeah, again, like we've talked in the past, if you can't impose your will on a team defensively, they can hold the ball all they want. We have not been able to impose our will the last couple of years. I think this year we'll have more of a defensive presence, which will enable us to get the ball in situations where transition has been created. But then again, as you mentioned about finishing, a lot of times we were up tempo and couldn't make the shot, so it didn't matter. So we have more players that can make plays and finish. So it'll be different, hopefully, this year.
Are you more optimistic about this season than you were at this time last year?
About last year's team at this time last year, or this
Yeah.
year's team last year?
Than you were about last year's team this time?
Did I confuse you?
yeah.
I might have confused you. But
Yeah. I'm more optimistic about coming into this season. Well, I got to backtrack. Last year, I was optimistic too, and then we got hurt. I was optimistic that, Paris Blackwell was now going to be able to play. And, Jannard Giroux had improved now we had Paris and Sean who were going to be able to be stronger, and you know, Jannard was going to be able to come in there. We had a freshman coming in, Nigel Williams-Goss. We had some guys coming back, and then guys started to get hurt. So, but I was optimistic going into last year.
And obviously you've only had the one scrimmage, but in terms of roles and understanding what guys can do and them also embracing the roles, do you think you have that, or will you use tomorrow's game and a couple of these non-conference games to kind of really firm that up?
I can't remember, maybe 4 years ago, where roles were being defined this early. I think our roles further along in terms of each guy knowing where they are and what we see than it's been in a long time. And we go back to experience.
And to add to that, does that mean rotations are starting to also
Uh-huh.
kind of work themselves out as well?
Yeah. You know, there could be the 5 that start here may not start the rest of the year, but it's getting pretty clear who the 8 or 9 guys are going to be. That's becoming pretty clear.
The guys are like Upshaw. I mean, there are guys sick and tired of trying to go up against him and try to score.
I think that's going to help our guys. Gilles Derricks and Sean go against him, and Jannard, they go against him, and you have to have a plan when you're going to try to score on him. And guys will make great moves, and they'll go up, and you're ready for the ball. All of a sudden, he comes out of nowhere and blocks a shot. Guys have to adjust to him. And what we have been seeing, especially with Sean, is Sean has begun to make adjustments. Bill Russell, this is off the subject, but kind of on the subject. Bill Russell told me one time that he wouldn't block Will Chamberlain's shot early in games. Because if he did, Will was good enough to adjust. He'd wait till the end. And I just thought that was sweet. That's pretty good. So, again, with this situation, you get your shot blocked enough, you're going to have to find a way to survive. And I think that's been helping Sean. You can just see how he's adjusting now. He doesn't get his shot blocked as much by Robert in practice now.
Have you been able to identify any areas that you guys are just going to be really tough to handle this year? Whether, you know, teams are really going to struggle dealing with you guys with rebounding, transition? You know, what are the strengths going to be of this team?
I think, again, with our size, hopefully teams can't get to the rim and finish as easily as last year. So, you know, you want teams to struggle. You would like to be able to say they're struggling getting there, but I also think we have some big guards that can post up really well and are strong and tenacious.
And who's made the biggest jump, just development-wise? Who's developed the most between last year and now?
Well, good question.
Who's different?
Darren Johnson has stepped it up. He is more focused. He's more dialed in. He's shooting the basketball better. He has better shot selection. So I think he's made a jump.
Now, who replaces C.J. Wilcox in terms of giving you that outside threat that that somebody who's going to open up the lane for the guys down low?
We keep every practice, every inter-squad scrimmage, the closed-door scrimmage, shooting drills, we keep saying, is this real? Because coming in, we had doubts in our mind of how good a shooting team we were going to be. But up to this point, there's been multiple guys that make threes. And with CJ, I think we depended so much on CJ. He would knock those things down, but not a lot of other people help CJ in doing that. So when you say replace CJ, I think this is different because we've got 3, 4, 5 guys that knock them down now. So me personally, I like that better. I prefer 5 guys in double figures than 2. You're much more difficult to defend when you have 5 guys in double figures versus 1 guy averaging 20 a game. It's harder on that guy averaging 20 a game too. Sometimes he's easier to defend. concentrate on him so much.
With the combination of the senior aspect that you talked about earlier, and just for you personally, how much of is there any more added pressure, added drive to get back into the tournament this year with the senior laden squad and the talent you have this year?
I don't know if added pressure, I mean, to me, it's always up here. The pressure you apply to yourself, you're trying to get there every year, so I don't know if this year is more because of it. You do find yourself, as a head coach and coaching staff, making sure, we get this right. But I feel like we're trying to do that every year.
The guy we know the least about is Quedvin Winters. What can you tell us about Quedvin? How's he coming along, and is he going to be one of those rotation guys?
Well, based on yesterday, if you could just take yesterday, then he's first team All-American. Yesterday, he was, wow. I mean, he got going and he hit probably 8 shots in a row, probably 6 of them were threes. He has the ability to shoot the ball really well. But all in all, yeah, he's one of the guys in the rotation. And he is coming from community college. He's new. He's still learning our system. He's learning our defensive system, all those things. But he is definitely going to contribute this year.
Is he a one-trick pony? Is he just a shooter?
No, he can post up. He's not just a great slasher, but he kind of plays within himself. If you close out on him and make him put it on the floor, he can still make a play. There's some guys that are shooters. If you close out on them and they make a play, they have to make a play. Now they're fish out of water. They don't know what to do after that second dribble. Now what? He's not like that. He'll make a play.
Just one more. Just Mike Anderson. It was kind of like he had to do things that probably outside his comfort zone last year because that's what it needed. But I keep on hearing that he's different.
He is playing on the perimeter. He's not played hardly any possessions. When we go 4 guards, he is not having to change anything right now. And as a result, he's been doing a good job because he's a facilitator. He's worked on his shot. He's knocking shots down. He's playing with more confidence from the perimeter. He's one of our best perimeter defenders, and we know he can rebound the basketball now. So all of that battling he was doing last year, when he was going in there and fighting and scrapping, now he's going to have some bigger guys helping him doing those type of things.
You only got one freshman now. Can you talk a little bit about Dorsey?
Again, you asked about shooters. He may have been the most impressive shooter from day one to now in how he's playing. And when we go with 4 guards, and he's one of the guards, and one of their bigs guards him, he will make you pay because he's been lights out shooting. You ask, well, he's a freshman. It doesn't matter. The ball goes in. The ball goes in a lot when he's shooting from the outside. So he's finding his way just on being able to knock down shots alone. He stretches the defense, and he has good size at 6'5" or 6'6", to where when people close out on him, he can still got a high release. He still gets it off.
Did that surprise you based on what you saw, in recruiting trail?
It exceeded our expectations. I thought in high school, watching Donovan shoot, I said, there's no reason why he can't be a great shooter, but he was so versatile. Donovan played point guard, he played the center, he played all over the place, and he didn't just concentrate on three-point shooting a lot. He'd get to the rim, he'd bring it in transition, but here he's been able to get a lot of spot-up shots. So he's made the most of it.
Lorenzo, what's your kind of your preseason thumbnail sketch of the league?
Not counting Arizona?
I think they're in the league last time I checked.
Yeah. I don't think there's any secret about how good theirs on paper they are. But then after that, there are a lot of question marks on who's going to be better than the other. Not question marks on how good they're going to be. Colorado's going to be good. Stanford's going to be good. Utah's going to be good. UCLA, there's some teams that are going to be good, but which one, when the dust settles, are going to be up at the top? That's going to be a tough one to answer. We'll have to see.
who was the first guy off the bench, you think? If everything goes according to plan and not foul trouble and all that stuff.
I'm sure Darren Johnson will be there pretty good.
And is that because of his sort of, again, his ability to shoot and to kind of stretch things for people?
If you say his ability to shoot and stretch, I think more of Quevin Winters and Donovan Dorsey. When I think of Darren, I think of someone who his shot complements his slashing ability. I mean, he gets to the rim. He's fast, he gets to the rim, he's strong. But now when he has to take an outside shot, that's been going in. But his is different. I think Quevin and Donovan, they will drive if you take them off that three-point line. Darren's coming at you. But again, based off yesterday, Quevin's the leading scorer in the league. Let alone the sixth man.